So on top of, that article, there's this one as well. But you're getting the picture that Hodge's job and the reason for fake Megxit and for this whole narrative playing out was for the transition of the monarchy to become a globalist kind of monarchy, and to mirror what the heir was doing alongside him, to be the black and white version, so then people choose sides and look over there rather than looking at this whole thing as a whole. This whole thing as a complete strategy and move and yeah, repositioning, shall we say. So the job for Todge was to become a global advocate to change global policy. That's why when I put out the high treason video and I had a fellow Australian literally send a formal letter to the King saying, "Are you aware that your son's committing treason in Australia?" There was no response. She then contacted all political parties in Australia to say, "Are you aware that our monarchy is committing treason?" And no responses, none whatsoever. This is a complete and utter farce and global collusion, including America and Australia. Nonetheless, I still fight for my country and for my people because even if this is what happens to us, I think there needs to be transparency here that hasn't been shown to us. And I don't agree with global deception. You could at least be honest, but they haven't done that. So that's where my loyalty fades. So obviously he's got IPP status and he's the mirroring of the heir, and he paved the way for the heir and the monarchy to then become globalists. And that's obviously the plan because they needed to move forward before 2025, or privatize all their assets and walk away, which still could possibly be the situation, but they've become globalists, and so they've now killed off the formalities of what the monarchy once was, and a British one or a Commonwealth one only solely. And you can see that being played out now, which is, foreign interference, but it's allowed. It's treason, but it's allowed. So there you go. So please do not ask me why anymore. They've made it overtly clear what they planned on doing and why they did it. There are other reasons, of course, why this happened. Andy's one. I mean, COVID's another. So many things that have happened, that have taken place, that have been allowed with this distraction and this misdirection that has also been supported by other accounts, by mainstream media, alternative media, and YouTube channels. That's why you haven't had clarity on anything for so long. As you can see, the mainstream media decides when they tell you what's been happening all along. So this article has also come out September 27th, so the same day. Funny that Palace Communications has been working real hard. And it says Prince Harry's transition. See, they're trying to convince you. They're trying to convince you that this has happened, that this was all a part of the plan, that and they actually don't give you any logical explanation behind it. Why would Todge be a global advocate? And do you see how they're not saying the heir is now a global advocate? Because what they're doing is they're trying to convince you through the narrative that Todd is a global advocate because he lives in the US, because he, I can't even explain it. That's basically it, because he lives in the US. He's now a global advocate. So why is his brother also in the US advocating towards climate change? Because this article is about climate change with Todge. So then that would mean both brothers are working in unison for the same cause in the same location. But they don't depict that. Do you see how they're mirroring exactly and protecting the heir through by means of the spare and the spare's narrative? It's very clever. Very clever and very... It's to not make you angry. It's to not make you speak out and go, why the fuck are two foreign princes in my country interfering in our politics, becoming global advocates in my country? When was that allowed? Isn't that against our constitution? Isn't that against like how America was even founded? Hold on a minute. What? Yeah, you don't want to ask those sorts of questions, and they're not going to let you ask those questions unless you ask them yourself. And this is probably why, again, I was so frustrated, because you need to ask these questions yourself. No one can do that for you. I have a few people, very, very few people, probably just even one, Squiddy Inc., who's American on Twitter, who knows this, who has clear sight as to what's been playing out for a very long time. And this is depressing stuff. This is not happy things. And I'm sorry. I wish it was. I wish this could be better. I wish we had an answer. We had closure. We had something to look forward to. But at the moment, it's not. But that's the truth. So you've got Prince Harry's transition from working royal to global advocate is now complete. So shut up about it, guys. Let me go into it. Prince Harry's transition from working royal to global advocate is now complete. Oh, the same. Oh, piss off. Sorry. Yeah, the same woman that does all the Vanity Fair bullshit with Katie Nichols is Erin Vanderhoof. I don't even know if she's real. Who cares? Just bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And monarchy instruction. Climate Week in New York City was an opportunity for the Duke of Sussex to try out diplomacy from a different perspective. Oh, so from a different perspective. So he's been a diplomat this entire time and a working royal. Gotcha. Just a different perspective. A solo perspective. A new PR angle. A new brand. Rebrand. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it, guys. It makes no sense as to why all of a sudden the couple that claw at each other and can't survive without one another now are doing solo trips and solo endeavors. They're trying to separate the brand and kill Nut off for the primal completion of this whole strategy being played out, which is the launching of Todge and the heir in USA and as global advocates. Ever since Prince Harry and Meghan Markle visited Nigeria at the request of the country's government. So, yeah, royal patronages. Their travels and international and diplomacy. Their travels and international engagements have looked more like royal tours, blurring the lines, wink wink, when just the article before said royal patronages. When Harry originally announced a solo trip to New York City to attend Climate Week events, yeah, it's all Todge. I mean, he just does this with no instruction whatsoever. It's just he decides to go, oh, I've got nothing booked for the week. And these governments keep just inviting me to things. Like, I had nothing to do while I was doing Netflix and writing my book Spare. I just had these, bits here and there. I became a committee member of Aspen Institute for no reason whatsoever. Everything's been just fallen into my lap because I'm the Spare. Makes so much sense. And it's all, Todge is doing as an American British prince. Nothing to do with the monarchy whatsoever. When Harry originally announced a solo trip to New York, Climate Week events, so in tandem with his brother, but they don't talk and, they've got a shitty relationship. Please. It was easy to assume it might be reminiscent of Prince William's, mirroring, just pure strategy. But when Harry took the stage at Clinton Global Initiative, Clinton's mothership is Council of Foreign Relations. Council of Foreign Relations in America is the American branch of Chatham House. It was clear how far he had come as a speaker and public figure. And by the way, don't talk to me about Heritage Foundation. Please don't. If you don't know the foundations of that thing, of how that was built. Compared to the uplifting yet somewhat hesitant speeches he used to give 5 years ago, oh my God, let's give him credibility. Unwarranted credibility. Now that he is a fully fledged, overtly self-professed royal patron, working royal and global advocate. Our laws and regulations are different state to state, country to country. We may have different backgrounds, viewpoints. The safety of our children. How would Todge have any idea as to how each country runs their laws, unless he's advised? So why do the leaders of these insanely powerful social media companies still refuse to change? That's not true. You had them all in a meeting room. Elon Musk was there with you. Remember? He was helping you out. That's not true. That's not true at all. You have the woman that you were working with at Aspen Institute and who is CIA tell us in a news interview that she was pretty much the one working on with the team, working on these annotations that we now see in Twitter and YouTube across all social media, that correct misinformation and disinformation. And you're trying to tell me that we have no censorship still, and that everything's still chaotic. It's just facade. It's not real. Why we hold him to the lowest ethical standards? This guy has become a political leader of fluff, who's meant to be a constitutional prince, just enjoying ceremony and traditions and serving the citizens of his realm under the monarchy. I'm just reading, sorry guys. Spent a few days with the country's vice president and got in a few cultural experiences. The Duke's multi-day trip to Manhattan was all business. How do you go from all business to just some fuddy-duddy Colombian trip? In under 72 hours, he packed in at least 7 events. How? How was that possible? Hey? seeing he's just some solo guy working in Montecito, living in Montecito in a rented house, or what is it, San Ysidro Lodge or whatever, or a New York building, or Florida or Miami, or I mean, who knows? Windsor. I mean, this sounds like he lives in the UK. If it's under 72 hours, he packed in at least 7 events. He'd be flying back soon, right? Some of which have counted him as a patron for more than a decade. They just told you. They're just telling you that he's been a royal patron and working royal for over a decade non-stop and hasn't stopped. It hasn't ceased. They're just telling you. They're just telling you. A patron for more than a decade. So if he's been a royal patron for more than a decade with these events, if this is what UN and everything else, that shows you how the monarchy is connected to these firms and institutions, and that he's been a covert royal patron all this time. I like to see the website pages on the royal family about Prince Harry's patronages, and if all of these have been listed, because then that tells you a lot more than what they're telling you here. That means they're telling you that they have a lot more covert operations that we don't know about. He patroned at least 7 events with a handful of his charities, some of which have counted him as a patron for more than a decade. He gave prepared remarks at most of the events, which meant he was switching gears from subjects ranging from youth. They're just telling you the palace communication strategy that they instructed Todge to execute. Youth empowerment. So the same shit that he's been spewing on for the whole time throughout Megxit, which tells you Megxit was just this strategy all along. Rather than focusing on the climate specifically, the trip was an opportunity for Harry to shine a spotlight on the teams that have helped him carry out his grand charitable plans. His plans, please. We all know it's not his plans. He was a headliner on Tuesday when the Sustainable Travel Coalition Travelers... Oh no, not that shell fucking company. Jesus Christ. So corrupt. Which he founded in 2000... He founded... Told you can't put 2 and 2 together, founded a company, a corrupt shell company for money laundering. Fascinating. In 2019, celebrated its 5th anniversary, which with a panel discussion and cocktail reception. Oh, bless. Oh, wow. On Monday, he celebrated the successes that the Halo Trust has had in demining Angola, following the country's devastating 26-year civil war, which I'm sure no one profited off. Angola, is that a Commonwealth nation? I'm not so sure. Work that began with the support of Princess Diana in the final years of her life. So yes, I'm guessing so. Otherwise, well, that really doesn't matter now, does it? We've got America involved, so there's no the rule of Commonwealth and all that stuff, and working under the Commonwealth and under the realm of the monarchy was just complete fluff, wasn't it? He spoke about his 2019 visit to the same former minefield as his mother, of course, bringing the mother into it all the time, because that's the strategy, to keep it relevant, to keep you emotionally engaged and believing that Todge is just a guy doing his thing. It's just manipulation. It's just pure manipulation. Nearly every year since 1952, when the UN, oh no, so this is all about the UN, moved into its headquarters. Yeah. I advise you strongly to look at the history of the UN and how it was created. And you'll understand its ties to the monarchy. All right, so UN's General Assembly session in September has drawn politicians. The heft of global power descending on the city during its weeks is unparalleled. Well, so they're literally telling you the global power is within the monarchy and within Todge through monarchy instruction. And it regularly turns city blocks into barricaded checkpoints for motorcades and processions, because the world's decision makers are in one place. Non-governmental organizations use it as an opportunity to gather their public and private sector counterparts to network and plan for the future. Is that not WEF, just under a different soft power? Isn't it all the same, just without the brand and the label? It's like Davos. It's exactly the same as Davos. They're just not telling you that. Not overtly, not with absolute clarity. This is why there's so many benefits to thinking critically about these things and reading the full articles. What we now call Climate Week NYC began in 2009. Did it? Because climate change only became an urgent situation in 2014, which was backed by Davos leaders creating fake social movements that were then backed by celebrities like Russell Brand. Well, if you can consider him a celebrity, started urging participants to make the environment a central point of discussion during the diplomatic free-for-all. What a joke. So they're now trying to say we're a democracy by having these open discussions and open innovative platforms. Do you see how Earthshot is a part of this? It's all about innovation and coming up with free market ideas and having everyone all in one place investing in great ideas to move forward and change the world for the better. Exactly the same as WEF, just not with the same label. And it's against the governments that are, controlling us all and controlling us with terrible, terrible policies that need to be changed. It's us against them. Because of the royals' long legacy so that's why they're advocating towards policy change, and the royals are involved, which is, again, it's foreign interference and treason. And yet, even though it's us against them with the government is letting this happen. It's all one big uni party. There's no real side. Because of the royals' long legacy in researching and combating climate change, long legacy, they haven't been able to have a long legacy because when the Queen was still alive, that would still be foreign interference. And the now King had to be very careful, very, very careful with how he got involved in climate change. And a lot of it was hidden. A lot of it was not in the public eye. And when it was very blurred wording. It was very, he just said a sentence. He just said that he believes that this should be this. And that was a bit naughty, but it's not so bad because he's not like advocating for change or anything. He's not moving mountains. So no, that's not possible. It's still a traditionalist monarchy, and that's why the narrative again has had to take place, because without that, they wouldn't have been able to justify this long legacy of climate change under the monarchy, which didn't really exist, unless it did exist and they've completely hidden it from us. It's practically impossible to avoid talking about them during Climate Week, even when they're not around. Really? So you're telling me that climate change and the global reset is led by the monarchy? In 2022, the funeral of Queen Elizabeth, wow, you bring her into it? Shameful. Delayed the arrival of many VIPs, and her legacy of diplomacy and environmental action was mentioned. So now they're telling you that the long legacy of climate change and the global reset was also enacted upon by the Queen. And this is all under global palace communications. Was mentioned by a number of speakers. I just can't believe that even if the Queen was a brand and everyone was loyal to the brand, that they're disrespecting her and tainting her in such a way. Like, whatever there is that has been hidden about her actions and whatever else, whatever have you, if we're just going off the brand, that they're now manipulating you into believing that, well, it may be true, but they're telling you that the Queen was involved. Including Queen Rania. Didn't Queen Rania, wasn't she interviewed by Nut in the TIG? I swear she was. Maybe a relative. I mean, you can see, even with Hannah Bronfman and all of these people she was interviewing, that it was all set up. It was still, that was a part of her identity creation and contract. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas Greenfield, on Monday, while Harry was a few blocks away at a private African Parks event with Katie Couric. Katie Couric. She was a part of, was it Aspen? Was it at Aspen? Or that global policy change with Aspen, but with Todge back in 2020? With that idiot, that CIA agent? I swear she was. His father was a topic of discussion during the first day of the Clinton Global Initiative. Well, they're all getting together and rebranding. The monarchy's all in on this, guys. King, the Queen, the Prince. No mention of the heir. Take note. Well, hold on. There's the heir. Well, William and Charles have walked the line of representing British government interests. What? I have to reread that. Where William and Charles have walked the line of representing British government interests while establishing themselves as global leaders in fighting climate change. It just tells you that the British government is not in charge, the monarchy is in charge, because it completely breaks the agreement that constitutes treason if you don't abide by it, between the British government and the monarchy. So the agreement is a load of shit, and therefore our Commonwealth is a load of shit, and the constitutional monarchy is a load of shit. Unbelievable. They're literally saying that they're working in unison, and the British government is allowing global policy change and foreign political interference by the monarchy. And if they were in charge, they wouldn't be allowing this to happen. So they're not in charge. Harry's role outside of the palace means he's coming as a representative of himself. Oh, righto. Yeah, silly me. Not that long legacy of climate change by the monarchy. No. It's just Hodge working on his own with his ABC blocks and finger painting. His comments this week reveal a direct point of view now, formed both by his years in the royal family, the research he's done, and the experience he's had outside of it. In a UN event with I'm almost done, I promise. Harry explained why he is interested in talking about a range of issues in partnership. It's funny how they pick like New York and Canada and places that are, I guess, modernistic in their approach of diversity and progression, and they exploit the progression and diversity of these cities and nations to promote globalism. Diverse perspectives, experiences, and voices are crucial if we are going to forge a more equitable / globalist world. So he's talking about a global empire, and he's talking about globalism, and he's representing this global empire. Why you would want to uniform and standardize the world through policy, there's no other explanation. Partnerships are therefore fundamental to delivering change. But you wouldn't need partnerships if everyone's in complete and utter subordination. Would you? An agreement. Whether we're addressing the changing climate and its effects on food and security, advocating for children's rights, or tackling HIV epidemic. I'm not sure why the HIV epidemic is still a topic of discussion. Why he's now avoiding COVID altogether and vaccines in general. Aren't vaccines, don't they have a lot to do with the HIV? We cannot do it alone now that Harry's a private citizen. Hold on. They're saying he's a private citizen? What, a private citizen of America? He's given up his citizenship in the UK. He's no longer a prince. He's no longer a duke. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, he's not a private citizen. He's a prince of the British royal family, and he's a foreign diplomat with IPP status. It's that fucking simple. He cannot be a private citizen of America. It's not possible unless he's literally willing to abdicate any of his, to remove his titles and to not be royal whatsoever and to just be an everyday private citizen, an actual private citizen. And he's not wanting to do that. That's never been the situation. If you look through all his interviews, he loves what he does. He loves what he does. It was nothing to do with all the fake narrative. And protected by he's no longer organised and protected by the British Embassy, which is, kind of not true. Well, kind of true and not true, because he's protected by the global embassies, and he's protected by now the US government. And he's protected by the in any nation he goes in, he's protected. Which makes them more harried than they might otherwise be. To make up for it, he travels with experienced staffers who have been with him for years and plans around the guidance of a nimble security team. Oh yeah, bullshit. Absolute and utter fucking bullshit. Last year, William was able to move around the city with ease, including by boat. Wow! And police officers blocked off a section. Oh, so there's the difference, right? Just a different change of tactic. It doesn't matter if Todge is completely protected by the entire nation. And it doesn't matter what PR strategy they're going to give you and what sentences and words are going to give you. If he's completely protected by a nation, then he could have, they could pretend he's got one person policing him compared to his brother, and it still wouldn't mean shit. Yeah, whatever. Bullshit. Harry and Meghan have always been more project-driven than his Windsor family relatives. Mirroring. See? Just PR strategy. It's funny that Katie Nicholl in 2020, so when it was Megxit and when Nut supposedly stole from or was being a creep with the children and with the Queen, and, you know, was abusive to staff and was a horrendous human being. When that all happened, Katie Nicholl says, you can say what you want about Nut, but she works incredibly hard. Yeah, she works for her money. She works really hard for her money and for her holidays and for her own private life, which has nothing to do with the identity that you see here. Months after their royal exit, the problem is she and Harry have a tendency to hatch big projects over dinner and expect them. There's no problem here. That's not true. You think Harry Todge was the one who, you know, come up with all these UN they've told you in the same breath, in the same article, that he has had decades-long patronages with these charities and these firms and institutions that he's now engaging with. So that would mean they have no projects coming up with over dinner. They don't have dinner together. They don't have dinner at all. They don't live together. They're not together. And this is a whole strategy, a whole duo identity creation to try to say to you that they're independent from the monarchy, but they're still working towards the same causes. And soon enough, they're going to literally, Todge and his brother are going to morph into one. Because they already are. If you actually take away the narrative and you put both of them together with what they're doing, their actual actions, not the PR, they're exactly the same. One's just a little more softer. One's just a little more protected, and it's a little bit easier to digest. In It's now been 4 years since they started Archwell, and in his whirlwind trip, Harry's charity appearances made the implicit argument that he has a lot to show for his years outside. More credibility bullshit. His interest in presenting the world with his body of work might be why so many of his events were retrospective. 2 public engagements on Tuesday both involved institutions associated with his late mother, Princess Diana. He talked about her work during his remarks at the Halo Trust event and focused on her even more during a panel discussion. Still, the event was much about, just more manipulation to make you look the other way and not make you look at the global policy changes he's trying to do. They liked listening to Harry, but they really were impressed by the poise and delivery of the 2 award winners. Yep, just some more deflection. Look over here. It's solid proof that while Harry might be drawing... Yeah, Harry's harmless, guys. Todger's harmless. He's just there for the show and to clap. I think that's about it. Sorry for the late one, but I want to record that so then if the articles are taken down, then you know what's been said and what has been exposed. So, yeah. I need a bit of a break, and that stuff has really quite upset me from last night. Yeah. I wish it was easy. I wish telling the truth was easy, and it's not. Some people get it. A lot of people don't. And they think that I should be questioned and just all this shit that people create their own realities here on this platform. Yeah, I'm not into it, so I'm going to take a break. But I hope you enjoyed this chat on my own internal little rant. If you want to criticize my presentation, please go ahead. Yeah. Thanks, guys.